Yo, this is it. This is Saajan Doshi and Co. Episode 3. Look, I know. Just I want to get this out the way. I feel like two of my close friends from my time at Star Mountain, uh, Senior Kyle and Nicholas, they're gonna look at me and they're like, "Yo, why do you got that JW haircut right now, guys?" I'm telling you, my hair looks fresh. It's just because I see how it looks right now at the side view, and I know like the second they see this, I'm like, "Yo, your hair looks like get your hair fixed." But guys, yeah, I'm 5 episodes back on SD and Co. How many? I'm back a few episodes on this, and that's just because I'm gonna blame it on COVID. I'm gonna blame my past. I had 2 years to get a lot of stuff done, but just blame it on COVID, right? Um, no, but there is like a lot that I do want to talk about that I haven't gone to. Um, Quick housekeeping, just because I can't talk about this stuff on finance musings or how to get into banking because that stuff's more a little bit more focused, and this is just kind of my time to rant or whatever. Podcasting is all about consistency. Joe Budden said it from the start, and even if you want to do like a 30-minute pod, a lot of people just can't do that consistently. But big news. Gene Isaacs got his script done. Really excited. I actually have to read this. It's like a 90 pages. I'm really excited. Pre-production prep is gonna have to start for trying to film, early summer, and then the Euro trip in July. So that's gonna be awesome. That is gonna be really fun. Um, Denmark or the Netherlands. I don't know. We gotta see what's up. But I need my passport. Yo, U.S. government guys. Like my passport. Like I paid for expedited shipping, still haven't gotten it, and I'm like, it was like $117. Not that it's a lot of money, but it's like I paid to get like expedited shipping, still haven't gotten it. But um, just gonna get into it. Man, so much has happened since episode two. Because I remember episode two, December 16th. I was like, oh, I can't wait to see No Way Home and this and that. So No Way Home happened. COVID scare. Christmas trip to LA, which was crazy. In a good way. Just it was really good to see Gene and Marvin. Um, uh, Personal updates. I'll leave it at that. Continuing to drop the How to Get Into Banking podcast, Finance Musings, working and developing that. Thinking about kind of, hey, what's when you drop the book, when do you drop the course, the coaching, and all that. So all those improvements, career things, like so much has happened. And now before you know it, it's like, wait, we're 1 month into 2022. It's like, whoa, can we slow down? And somehow the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. No disrespect to the Bengals, but I think they were 200 to 1 odds, and now it's like, yo, y'all are really in the playoff, in the Super Bowl. And unfortunately, my Lakers still are not doing anything. And look, Russell Westbrook, I know you're a fellow Scorpio, and if you ever see this, there's no hate, but LeBron, you too, like I love LeBron James, but you guys should have traded for Buddy Hield. I would love one day when it comes out as to like, hey, why was the decision made? Like, why did LeBron and Anthony Davis felt like it that Russell Westbrook would be a good fit for them? Like, I'm sure I feel like Russell Westbrook is a cool ass dude. I'd love to hang out with him, train with him, work out with him, whatever. Like, I'm sure he's a cool ass dude, but like, is he a fit with me on the basketball court to win a ring, right? And that's what I feel like LeBron should have asked himself. And they trade for Buddy Hield. That would have been such a better opportunity to round that team out, right? In hindsight, it's 2020, right? Because in hindsight, if I'm Rob Pelinka, what I would have done is I would have packaged THT because I still think THT is going to be an animal in the league, right? He's only 20. I still think he's going to be a savage, but what he, people thought of him back then, there were like some serious offers of like, hey, we'll give you a 3-and-D wing player picks. Like he was a commodity. He was an asset, right? So in hindsight, I feel like Pelinka, Dwight Howard still great center. The 20 minutes that he can give you, Melo, great scoring output. Malik Monk, great. Like I'd say of the Lakers additions, and I'm like literally just getting to skipping ahead to the Lakers, but Malik Monk, Melo, Dwight, great additions. Obviously, unfortunately, Kendrick Nunn and Ariza have been injured, and what have you. And then Stanley Johnson's been a great midseason pickup. But if I'm Rob Pelinka in hindsight, it's like, you sign Dwight to come and give you, your 20 to 30 minutes if you need it. But in this day and age, I don't think you need more than 20, 25 like a traditional big man. You get Dwight, that's one, right, on the bench. You got Melo, that's two, scoring, size, intensity, championship experience, whatever. That's two. Malik Monk, instant offense, can start, whatever. And then Stanley Johnson, right? So you have those four on the bench, right? I really think Pelinka, in hindsight, would have done the following. Last season, 100%, he would have traded THT. And the reality is that trade that they had lined up to get Buddy Hield, Kuzma, Montrezl Harrell, and all that stuff, and they later did all that to get and Casey. They did all that to get Russ, but that essentially was the same trade package, but for Buddy Hield. If you sweeten the pot and add in THT, you're gonna go and get a much bigger star, right? Who knows what that could have been? Because you add in THT, you're gonna get something more than Buddy Hield, right? I'm not saying you're gonna go get Bradley Beal or Dame or something crazy like that, but I feel like there exists a trade in which you take that package of Harrell, Kuzma, picks, whatever, and add in THT, and you get a bona fide stud, right? And another thing that they should have done is DeMar DeRozan really, really, really wanted to come back to the Lakers, and his time at the Spurs made him a viable shooter. I mean, DeMar DeRozan is shooting like 33, 34, 35%, 36% from three. And what makes him so valuable is his mid-range game, is his ability to drive and get to the buckets. In the modern NBA, you need someone who can get to the lane, either be somewhat respected from the three, which he can, but can also control the pace of the game. And, hey, I can be a threat from a pull-up mid-range. You can do pick and rolls, pick and pops, whatever. And the burden that he would have taken off of LeBron from just like, here, like, take the ball. And, like, as LeBron, I can either be in the post and I'll distract people. I could stand outside. I'll distract people because as LeBron, you still have to respect him. So this Lakers team could have been so much more well-positioned if, even if they decided to keep THT and they're like, hey, let's just stick with the Buddy Hield trade, and not going over the cap and the, like, willing to pay the luxury tax to get Alex Caruso. That's something that, man, if I ever... Jeannie, Bus, you've done such a great job. I hold you in the highest regard, but I'd love to see the math. I know that if they paid Caruso that $10 million, his salary, I don't know what the exact tax implications would have been, but the Lakers would have had to pay out of pocket millions of dollars, right? Because they would have been over the tax. I don't know the exact math, but it would have been millions of dollars. Now, the question you have to ask yourself is, you have one of the greatest players of all time, if not the greatest, LeBron James, and you have a chance to win a ring, right? It's all about winning championships, right? And you have a real shot because, coming into the season, everyone was like, oh yeah, sure. The Nets, right? And then the Warriors come out of nowhere. Wiggins is now like a stud. I've always been a Wiggins fan, by the way, but the Nets have kind of imploded, and we'll get on that in a little bit. My first true team, but they're in Brooklyn now, so it's just, I'm still a Nets fan, but like, they're not in Jersey anymore. But if I'm Jeannie Buss, I'm like, all right, if we bring back Caruso, we know how well his plus minus is with LeBron on the court with AD. We know what they bring, and it's like, I understand it's millions of dollars, and it's an unfathomable amount to people like us, but you have to understand is that the revenue that these teams generate and the losses that they can take, and what is that loss to another championship banner? To another ring. And if you think about that team that could have been, right, either you have Buddy Hield, THT, Caruso, Reeves, LeBron, Dwight, Monk, Melo, Stanley Johnson, any number. And I mean, it'd be interesting to see who they would assign to play as a guard, as a true point. But maybe at that point, LeBron just plays true point, and then you got AD at 5, Melo at 4, right? And then you got Monk at 2, and then at 3, you'd have Monk at 3, Hield at 2. I mean, you'd probably Hield at 2, Monk off the bench, or vice versa, and then 3, whoever, right? Or let's say they did something, and I don't know how the cap would have worked out exactly, because I don't know if DeRozan got to Chicago through a sign and trade or if he signed outright. I don't know how that would have worked. The reason I say that is because I don't know if they signed DeRozan, if they still would have been able to package THT, Kuzma, Harrell for some other star, right? But got sidetracked about the Lakers, but it's because I was talking about New Year's and got to see LeBron James play for the first time, which was awesome. It was everything that I expected. We had really, really good seats. Not exactly courtside, but they were lower bowl, and they were super cheap. They weren't what you'd granted, they were playing the Kings, so that's why that's a little hack, right? Make sure the team you want to watch is playing a bad team, so to say, right? Um, so I'm gonna stop there on the Lakers, but that's just my thoughts on the Lakers, and it is what it is, right? Um, but a quick pivot to the Nets and talent wins championships. I want to quickly talk on this because as a Nets fan and Kyrie's like my age. He's from New Jersey, and if Sean Marks has ever, I met Sean Marks once. It was I don't remember who the Nets were playing. This was December 2016, and Ashish and I had gone down there, and because he worked at Barclays at the time, so we got like a sweet deal, and that's when I met Haley Baldwin back then, and now Haley Bieber. And I went up to Sean Marks and I was like, "Yo, like I love what you're doing, the strategy, like rebuilding, getting picks, like scouting players, whatever." But um, if I'm Sean Marks, I'm trading Kyrie for someone immediately. Whether it's a shoot Bradley, someone trade Kyrie because you need someone to play your home games. And on that same token, I trade James Harden. You can't afford to lose someone like James Harden, especially what you gave up. You can't afford to lose him for nothing because you lose him for nothing, then you just got KD next year. And unfortunately, that's just not going to be enough. And you don't want KD playing 40 minutes, 35 minutes a game in the regular season, right? So, Sean Marks, if you're listening, please, 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 us Nets fans who are starved of a championship, we want to see something. So please go and I hate to say this, but like trade Kyrie to get someone back and trade Harden because so let's say they trade Harden for Ben Simmons, right? That would work out really well because Ben Simmons and KD, I feel like complement each other where like you don't, and the Nets have enough shooters where you don't necessarily need Ben Simmons can just be that point guard and then play on offense. He could play out the post, drive. Like he doesn't. The Nets have enough shooters, and with KD being who he is, you don't need like Ben Simmons to be a 3-point shooter. So I feel like that could still complement really well, but you got to get rid of Kyrie. Unfortunately, just not because he's not a super talented, God gifted, hard work. Like I love Kyrie's game. Like I think it was against the Pacers. He did some crazy step backs, and I'm like, how? It's just like how's that possible? Like I don't know how Kyrie does some things that he does. He's that talented, but unfortunately, you need him for home games, right? So Sean Marks, if you're listening, please go ahead and do that. Pivoting to Spider-Man, No Way Home. It so let me backtrack. I've always been the type of person who's like, I didn't care about spoilers or whatever, and I mean spoiler alert. So if you haven't watched it yet, whatever point in time you're watching this, and you haven't watched No Way Home, please stop. But my sister and I, we've never been the ones to like really care about spoilers, and we'll read everything or whatever. And there were so many rumors about No Way Home, about Toby and Andrew Garfield and everyone coming back, and I felt like I knew what was gonna happen in the movie because like there's so many script leaks and everything, and by the time it actually even got to the movie, like yes, I was excited, but I kind of knew what was gonna happen because you saw the set leaks and everything, and I think for me it's taken the joy out of it. Before like I didn't care, but I think now I think it's safe to say is that I think I'm gonna take a stand against reading about spoilers. I mean, look, most people would probably like, yo, that's kind of like normal, but like, no, this is huge for myself, and I don't know if my sister will still do it because I wonder how I would have reacted if I saw Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield come out on the screen, because like everyone kind of knew what it was, like yeah, they're gonna be there, and that is like, listen, if you're out there and like you're watching spoilers or like reading about them, like yo, please, like you don't have to do it. There is another life. Like please refrain from spoiling movies for yourself because it will be worth it. And it's tough because I remember in 2019, like Game of Thrones, like yo, we were just reading all the scripts, everything. Like dog, I was like yo, I love, like I don't care. But I don't know, maybe this comes with like wisdom. It's like yo, like I don't want things to get spoiled anymore. But quick thing on Marvel. What I'm kind of jealous of is like all like my kids like 20 years from now, they're gonna be able to see everything from like start to finish, right? They'll be able to turn on Iron Man, go through everything. They'll get to WandaVision, they'll get to the Falcon and Winter Soldier, they'll get to Loki, they'll get to the Eternals, they'll get to Spider-Man. And then it brings us to now this fucking mega event happening with the multiverse, right? Doctor Strange and the multiverse of madness. Now, yo, the rumors on this one are crazy. Iron Man is gonna be Tony Stark. Jesus, oh my God, Iron Man is Tony Stark, but Tom Cruise is apparently Iron Man in another universe, and he's coming. Patrick Stewart, the X-Men. I'm getting goosebumps right now. So all that to say is I'm gonna refrain from reading about rumors, and I'm gonna stop because I feel like Doctor Strange. I kind of know what's gonna happen based on this perpetrated, script leaks and all that stuff, and it's kind of like fuck, like why? But it's like addicting. It's like shit. Like I felt like God, Tyrone Big. Good God, I should know this. As a Dave Chappelle fan, I should know what I'm trying to reference. I was trying to reference is it Tyrone Biggums? God, I feel terrible, but the addict on Chappelle's show. But like I'm just like sitting here like, oh damn, like what's gonna happen? But what I wanted to say about Marvel, like I brought up Spider-Man No Way Home is because one, guys, please stop spoiling shit for yourselves. But two is I'm really excited about What If Season 2. If you haven't seen What If Season 2, it's amazing. And it was interesting is like you could think that everything you see in What If and for background, What If is like an animated, excuse me, it's on Disney Plus, it's just an animated version of like, what if this happened in the Marvel universe, or like what if Thor didn't have a brother, or like what if zombies were real, or like what if instead of like Captain America if it was Captain Carter, or things like that, right? And it's interesting because those are all stories that may or may not be like have taken things from the comics, and to think that those could have been actual live action scripts, and some of that stuff is going to get drawn on as source material for the Multiverse of Madness. That's like, I feel like for true Marvel fans, like that's what I'm excited about, and I feel like there is a world one day where we might see those live action films, because like you damn well know if someone made a movie with like what if like the zombie episode was made into a movie, for a fact all of us, all the Marvel fans would be. It's an easy $1 billion, like 100%. That's something that I did not want to like gloss over. Is like, I feel like I may have ruined Doctor Strange 2 for myself, and I don't know if I'll be able to forgive myself. So, guys, stop reading the spoilers. But some other big stuff that to need to talk about is, Joe Burrow, like, I hope you win Super Bowls in the future, but like I really wanted that Chiefs-Rams Super Bowl. And no, I don't bet, but like I don't know how you guys are, but like for me, I feel like sports are all, and I got this from Colin Cowherd, and I agree with him on this, is like, and he put it eloquently, is that sports are about the stories, right, to an extent, but they're also about the stars. And what that means is you want the flash, you want the storyline, you want the exciting game. And I'm not saying Bengals Brown, oh my God, Bengals Rams isn't going to be that, and I do think the Rams will win. But Rams Chiefs is just Hollywood, right? It's in LA. You want high-powered offense against high-powered offense. Rams have a better defense, in my opinion. And Joe Burrow had to come in. I got the Rams. It's crazy to think this is what Joe Burrow did in his second year. Because Mahomes got there in his third year, I think, right? Because 16, he was on the bench behind Alex Smith, I think. I could be totally wrong on that. But I think, Mahomes didn't play his first year. Second year, I'm not sure what happened. But third year, they lost in the AFC Championship game to the Patriots. And then the fourth year, they beat the Niners 2019-2020. And then 2020-2021, they lost the Bucks last year. I think that's that. But I got the Rams on this. I'll probably talk about this next week. But, man, Joe Burrow had to really ruin, like, that Hollywood, like, why is this? You got, people are probably like, dog, you definitely had money on this and lost money on this. No, I definitely didn't. But it's just something that I don't know how people feel about that. But for me, it's, like, always, like, storylines, brands, big franchises, superstar players. And it's kind of like, damn, like, and it kind of hurts that the Bengals, like, and I'll kind of transition to this about Brian Flores and all that in a second, but like, damn, like Marvin Lewis, like they had that great year in 2015 when they had Andy Dalton. They had the defense, they had the offense, and it just sucks because Marvin Lewis like spent like 20 years there, I feel like, and it just shows you that like a quarterback is freaking everything in the league. You need like quarterback is so important, and I feel like if you're a team and let's say you draft a quarterback, you think you roll the dice on it, and it's like 3 seasons in, you got to cut your losses. Like if I'm the Giants, like yo, no disrespect to Daniel Jones again, like seems like a cool dude, but like bro, it's been 3 years, and like if you're the Giants, it's like yo, cut your losses and start drafting people on the line, build that offense up, and just wait till you find the right quarterback. Like, there's no point in drafting a quarterback that's not like, yo, this guy's going to be out of the world. Because I know you got to take your chances, but you just get stuck in mediocrity and you just don't get out of that, right? Now, this is, I know I'm like just like zipping through this, but a lot of people may not know Russ, which is weird because like Russ is like, one, he's from Jersey, so I'm always gonna like have love for Russ and respect just because he's from Jersey. But this dude is really fucking smart. Like this guy is really, really smart. He was on Rory and Maul's podcast, and I wanted to talk about this for like weeks, right? And I never got to it. And a lot of people, I don't want to say people don't respect Russ. I feel like they look at him as like a white guy, and they just kind of like dismiss him. And I feel like I can relate to him a little bit in terms of like being looked at and being dismissed, depending like. Given what my profession is and what he's in, and like people might look at you a certain way and like just dismiss you, and I may have felt that way when I was throwing, and people just be like, oh, it's like this kind of scrawny Indian kid, and like, and then you go and perform and compete and like, oh damn, like he's actually good. But if you get a chance to check out this episode of Rory and Maul, where they talk about with Russ, Russ is a absolute genius, in terms of just how he's built. So here's the thing, and example I'm going to give you is this. He talks about, he's like, hey, like, you're going to wear Gucci, right? And people are going to see that. And people might be influenced to go and then buy Gucci based on you wearing it, you being whoever you are, whether you're an athlete, entertainer, online, whatever, right? Because of who you are, your people who follow you, you wear it, then people buy that stuff because of them, and now they're getting rich, their brand's getting bigger. And I know on the surface it sounds like simple. It's like, yeah, so like just have your own merch, right? But people don't even take the steps to do that. Wait, let me go grab my, like, hold up. It's like I'm over here talking about having your own merch, and it's like, yo, dog, like you don't even have your shit on. But so, but even if it is, it's like, hey, why should I be doing anything and not be repping my own stuff, right? And I think that it sounds simple enough, but it's true, and a lot of people don't do it. Obviously, look, Russ's contribution to the game is more than just like, hey, guys, like, figure out a way to put money in your pocket and at least build your brand and put yourself first. But as it pertains to this, it's like, hey, at least this way, you're in the public eye. Like, hey, this is my brand, this is my product, whatever. But the counter to that, and the reason I bring this up, because some people will say, like, hey, you should have a quality product or service first before you go and be like, hey, instead, before you're here recording podcasts and stuff with branded merch and all that. But I think it's so important to have that mindset of like ownership of like, hey, if I'm drinking, like why am I going to be putting stuff out on a platform for the whole world to see potentially and have someone else's product and name on there that I'm not getting paid for? And that's kind of like the mindset that he has. And that's like that I think I wish it gets preached and taught more, right? And then the other thing that caught me, I feel like he's a savage in his relationships. Like, and I'm not like this at all. I'm a hopeless romantic. If I fall in love with someone, I've only been in love with one person, and Stargirl. Everyone knows who it is, but I've only fallen in love once. And if I'm in a relationship, I'm gonna go all in. I'm going swimming, dog. I'm going all in. I'm trying to eat out. So what are we going to dinner for? And he made a good point. He was like, because like this is a problem that I had, in my prior relationship of like, he was like some girl that he was talking to, I guess they were dating, whatever. She's like, oh, why didn't you text me that you went to the studio or whatever? And he was like, I don't even text my mom that I'm going to the studio. I'm a grown man. I'm like going to the studio. It's my job. And I put my phone down because I have to record. And I understand that, right? And again, I know it's a little bit of a story time, but I'll get to the crux of this is that if you're in a relationship, do you have a responsibility? Like, how much of a responsibility or burden do you have to like keep that person abreast of what you're doing, right? Like, hey, I'm here or I'm doing this. like, hey, sorry, I won't be able to talk for 30 minutes because I'm doing this, right? Versus like your counterparty having enough trust and respect and wherewithal and just mindfulness that like I can text that person, and if I need to talk to them, I can text them or call them like, hey, I need to talk to you, and they'll call me back, versus thinking automatically that they're ignoring me, right? And that, I think, was a problem that I faced, and I think what Russ kind of gets into here, he's like, yo, if there's ever a relationship and it gets in the way of like what's getting me money and that is provided for my family, I can't let that happen. And I'm saying all this because in hopes of hopefully I learned that lesson, and hopefully other people watching this, when you watch that episode, like that's really good advice, right? And it's not just as it pertains to women, you know, in relationships, but having that ability to know that like, hey, it's okay to focus on what you're doing. And for him to have developed that at 20, like I thought I was like that, but clearly, you know, my emotions as it came into my relationships, you know, with my girlfriend or my ex, really kind of didn't allow me to think like that. And that's when I'm kind of hearing Russ talk about this and how he's maneuvered and handled fame and relationships and all that. And I guess a part of it's easier. Maybe it's easier when you have millions of dollars because you know what's at stake, right? So I don't know. Definitely go watch the whole episode. Russ definitely has more to offer than just merch and relationship advice. But like, I just thought that like was really, really insightful stuff, especially from a guy who's like relatively young, right? I think Russ is my age. He's like 28, 29, 30, give or take something, you know, in that range. And before I pivot, but quick shout out to oh, this is gonna go off. Let me just mute that. Oh.
Something is gonna.
Yeah. Man, oh man. I just want to see what is on my side here. You guys get a look at what's on here. Why is it? Oh, shout out to Breaking Points, Crystal and Sagar. I will be on Breaking Points one day or interview them one day. I mean, Crystal and Sagar are great. Joe Budden, shout out to Joe Budden. Definitely will want to talk about Megan Tory's case. That's crazy. Like, apparently he got someone to say that, like, someone else shot her foot. I don't know. I don't want to get into that, but there's that. Look, guys, I am out of breath and tired. I have a ton of stuff to do. A lot of prepping, reflection. These comments are great. Let me just see. Hold on. Double down on who you are. I didn't even know I needed to hear that, but goddamn, I felt that shit. Damn, look at that. Words of wisdom. Double down on who you are. Right here. Look, incredible interview with tons of valuable information for independent artists. Russ continues to grow, a man of music and endless inspiration. The book he references at 205 is Mark Mance's Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck. I've never read this book, but I've also never given a fuck. I like fully embrace that. And if you ever run into me, like, you're going to get who I am. Like, I never pretend to be someone else. Like, you see me now, like, yes, obviously, depending on the situation and environment, yes, there's always a refinement that occurs, but, like, I'm going to be me, and whatever you get, that's just that. And so I never really read the book, but I'll read the Spark Notes one day. We have evolved to always live with a certain degree of dissatisfaction and insecurity. Maybe or maybe not, but that's true. I mean, I wouldn't say I'm insecure. Yeah, that's a lie. Sometimes I am insecure. Sometimes I am dissatisfied. So that's true. We have evolved to always live with a certain degree of dissatisfaction and insecurity, because it's the mildly dissatisfied and insecure creature that's going to do the most work to innovate and survive. Hold up. Am I supposed to get that? We have evolved to always live with a certain degree of dissatisfaction and insecurity. Mildly dissatisfied and insecure. That's, yeah. Actually, I want to go back and listen to this because, like, I get what he's saying, because if you're mildly dissatisfied and insecure, you're going to try to get out of that maybe. And I just want to see what 205:20. Hold on. 205.
I wasn't ambitious, and if we weren't ambitious as humans as to want something we don't have, we would never develop.
But that's my biggest fear of being someone that is so ambitious and fucking psycho in their own brain every moment of the day, is the fear of settling.
This, bro.
I was
gonna tell you to play it.
I'm gonna plug in. So
also, to what you're saying, I was reading a book the other day, the realest shit ever. That whole idea of like ambition, not being able to be grateful of what's going on around you.
That's my biggest
Watch
flaw.
this.
Well, not my biggest flaw, but
I'm about to give the whole world a quote from this book. It's not a bug, It's a feature.
Explain more.
If it was a bug, right? I look at it like a bug sometimes. What's wrong with me? Why can't I just be happy with what I got? It's a feature, because if I was so content, happy as a pig in mud with what I got, I would never get more. I want it all.
I just feel
it's
like
a feature. It's a feature to be dissatisfied, bro. That's how I feel. It's development.
I just be scared.
Nature's
that I'm
meant
not
to grow.
Enjoying the shit I was working for. I don't get to enjoy the shit that I.
Yeah, it's like the whole.
The journey is important. Of course, I know the journey is the most important part.
Yeah.
But at some point, we have to appreciate the finish line, because then I feel like we don't even go into the next.
So this is where I think is interesting, that we're like, you don't, just because you're trying to get more doesn't mean you don't appreciate what you have. And it's kind of like what I always say. It's like, yo, you can want more, but just because you want more and are ambitious doesn't mean that you're not happy and grateful for what you have in the moment, right?
Next journey with the right mentality.
It's like the salary you dreamed of getting is now the one you're starting.
Like, what am I actually working for?
Yeah, ambition.
Kind of always working for more, right? I think there is a concept of, like, is it ever enough? But then again, like, if it becomes enough, then isn't that when you just die? Because, right, or you're at a steady state. But I think it's in human nature to, even if it's not at a great scale, people think if you want more, you kind of want the world. You don't need the world to want to improve and want to just be your best version every day, to be like, hey, I'm grateful to be here, but I'm doing a disservice to, like, me having the ability to have great health opportunities, not do anything with it, you know?
It's insatiable.
So I'm not even really working for.
So yeah, I think that's good. Totally. I just saw those comments. I was like, hey, I got to see what he's saying. But quick updates on this format. I mean, for me doing this podcast, Saajan Doshi and Company, is me just talking about shit that, like, I read about, that I enjoy, that's like stuff in my head. I just kind of talk about it. And because I love to talk, and so why not just talk to the world? I know I really, really want to do the Dear Leela WRB thing, and either I might just interview on guest on a Saajan Doshi and Company and be like, hey, special episode, whatever, or I might just have, like, it be Dear Leela, it's a separate thing. I feel like it'll be easier if it's just like Saajan Doshi and Co. And just do that. So anyway, with that being said, I will see you guys later next week, same time, same place. Peace. Actually, that was a lie. I also know winter's slowly going away, because if I look outside, it's still bright outside. It's 5:30 and it's still bright. And on the East Coast in February, like, as you notice, because, like, if this was December, it would be dark outside. 100% in December, it would be dark outside. You know, times, whatever, forget daylight savings. It would be dark outside. It would be like, yo, it is the other side of the moon, but bright. We're getting there. Yo, we get through February to the moon, baby, because it'll, you know, March, April, May, and then summertime. So anyway, I'm out. Peace.